As a kid, autographs were my thing. There is my brother with Daryl Strawberry. This is me as a kid with Mike Greenwell in Anaheim during All-Star Weekend. My brother again with Kevin Mitchell at All-Star Weekend in Anaheim. And my friend with Will Clark at a Bay Area card show. We would go from show to show, checking out the signers, collecting autographs. What a blast. Hey everyone. So I've got something really exciting I'm going to do. I'm going to show you my top 10 baseball autographs. I'm going to rank them from number 10 all the way up to number 1. But here's the deal. For me, an autograph is not just a word. It's not just something that a player, an athlete wrote with a pen. It's about the story about why that autograph was important to me, about how I got that autograph, about who I was with, about the whole anticipation and process and memory. It's all about the story. So you're going to watch the next few minutes see me unveil my top 10 baseball autographs, and you're not going to agree with my rankings, because it's not about this player is better than this player, and so as a result this one has to be ranked higher. It's about the story for me and why that autograph is so meaningful. I hope you like what you see. Willie McCovey. Willie McCovey was a slugger and an absolute bomber during his time with the Giants. I got this autograph at a mall card show with my dad in the early 1990s. And the thing about this autograph is, growing up as a kid in Northern California during the 80s and 90s, is there wasn't all that much to do. So going to card shows and finding shows all over Northern California was something that I just have great memory of. When I look here, this is another Willie McCovey. This time on a program at a senior golf tournament. And you say, why would Willie McCovey be on a program that's also signed by Arnold Palmer and Chichi Rodriguez? Well, there was a Pro-Am at Rancho Murieta Country Club. And at the Pro-Am, Willie McCovey participated the day before the tournament. Willie McCovey was a legend in this area. Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson is one of those people who is so recognizable. And Reggie Jackson played for multiple teams, had his number retired by a couple of them. And here is my autograph on a ball I got from Reggie Jackson. In 2001, my brother, my dad, and I went to spring training in Tampa, Florida, and somehow my brother figured out the hotel that the Yankees were all staying at. So what we did is we booked a room at that same hotel and stayed there all week. And one day in the lobby, we ran into Reggie Jackson, and he signed this ball for me. In 2001, my brother and I went to Boston, and we went to a Memorial Day game with the Yankees versus the Red Sox. Sitting in the Ritz-Carlton, having a drink with my brother, in walks Mariano Rivera with his wife. Could not have been a nicer guy. Signed this ball for us, talked to us for a while. Mariano is the greatest closer of all time. He is a Yankee legend and the last player to wear number 42. In the late 90s at Oakland Coliseum before a game, Derek Jeter, like always, went over and was signing autographs. Now, even though the sweet spot is open, Derek would never sign on the sweet spot unless it was through Steiner Sports. But he still graciously signed quite a few autographs, one of which for me. Rooting for the Yankees, living in Northern California, meant we only got to see him a couple of times a year, and this was one of them. The chance to get him to sign this ball made that day extra special. Jeter is an absolute Yankee legend, 6th all-time in hits, 14-time All-Star. Yogi Berra. A player beyond the field, he was well known for just about everything he did. 18-time All-Star, 13-time World Series champ, 3-time AL MVP. Got this autograph at a card show in New Jersey in the early 2000s. Yogi Berra was one of the nicest guys. At that same trip to spring training, we rode in the elevator with Yogi Berra and his wife. We stayed on the same floor as them, and he could not have been a nicer guy. He's one of those guys that lives up to the hype. While I was born and raised a Yankee fan, in 1988, I was on the Red Sox, and I was a pitcher, and Roger Clemens was unreal. Guy instantly became my idol. Even though a Yankee fan, the Red Sox were the team I rooted for while Roger Clemens was there. Labor Day weekend of 1989 at Moscone Center was an enormous card show that we made the trip down to, and I got to meet Roger. He could not have been nicer to me. Asked me if I wanted to take a picture next to him, shook my hand. What an amazing experience. Things came full circle when the Yankees ended up picking him up, and my brother bought me this Yankee jersey signed by Clemens. Unbelievable to say, starting a Yankee fan, rooting for Clemens and the Red Sox, things came back to where they started. Some people might think, Graig Nettles, number 4? Are you kidding me? First of all, he was a beloved Yankee, and he was a Yankee captain. And there's a picture of me, and it is signed by the Graig Nettles that I was born to love. My name being Graig, spelled Graig, just like Graig Nettles, made me a fan before I even knew him. Here is an autograph on his payroll check. The one on the picture seen before, my mom got signed for me at an A's Yankee game in the early 1980s. A payroll check signed by any Yankee player, let alone the one with the same spelling and reason for the spelling of my name, is a really cool thing to have. Graig Nettles, 2-time World Series champ, 6-time All-Star, 2-time Gold Glover, even led the American League in home runs in 1976. And as an adult, had this done too. To Graig, inscribed to me, best wishes, Graig Nettles. What a cool autograph. What a cool experience to have these 3 autographs of the Yankee that carries the same name. An undervalued player, an underappreciated player, but an absolute Yankee legend. I have a huge amount of respect for the Red Sox and their legends, and there's nobody I respect more than Ted Williams. Ted Williams had some outrageous numbers, being a 19-time All-Star, 2-time Triple Crown winner, 6-time batting champ. But Ted Williams was also a war hero. Serving in the Marines during World War II, he missed some prime years of his career, and his numbers would have been much more insane. This is me meeting Ted Williams at a Sacramento community card show back in 1990. Earlier that year, while in 6th grade, I read a biography of Ted Williams and absolutely loved the guy from that point forward. A hero to the country and a hero to any baseball fan. If you can't have mad respect for Ted Williams, there's something wrong with you. And he could not have been nicer. I remember meeting him like it was yesterday, and I remember watching him sign that ball, and this has been a treasured item for me ever since. An absolute top player of all time. Mickey Mantle. 20-time All-Star, 7-time World Series champ, 3-time AL MVP. And I got his autograph on a ball in 1989 at another Sacramento Community Center card show for $25. This was a memorable day. My brother and I both got balls signed by Mickey Mantle, and my dad got a picture signed as well. Mantle was my dad's childhood favorite player, and I remember seeing his excitement when he got to meet Mickey Mantle himself. There's the picture of that day. A perfect autograph on the sweet spot, and an absolute treasured item in my collection. Any Yankee fan immediately thinks Mickey Mantle when thinking of some of the all-time greats. In 2001, what a year. We had 9/11 take place, and this autographed ball happened at spring training in Tampa, Florida. I went to spring training, the one and only time, to Yankees spring training in Tampa with my dad and my brother, and got multiple Yankee autographs on this ball. Shane Spencer, Alfonso Soriano, Don Zimmer, Orlando El Duque Hernandez. Continuing, Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, Ted Lilly, starting pitcher, and Jorge Posada, one of the core group of that Yankee dynasty. What a trip in 2001, in the spring before everything changed in this country, to be able to meet these guys up close, and every single one of them could not have been nicer. Jim Leyritz, Randy Choate, and Willie Randolph. At the time, Willie Randolph was the third base coach of the Yankees before becoming a manager for the Mets. A legend of his own for the Yankees in his playing time. 2001 is a year that we not will be forgotten. Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, Ramiro Mendoza, David Justice, Nick Johnson, more Yankees on this special ball. Being there for that week with my brother and my dad was an amazing experience, and this ball is the one that really puts everything in perspective and reminds me of that trip. And believe it or not, on the sweet spot, Joe Torre, and George Steinbrenner. How in the world did I get George Steinbrenner's autograph, you're wondering? Staying in the team hotel at dinner one night with my dad and my brother. In walks the people sitting at the booth next to us is none other than George Steinbrenner and his wife. George Steinbrenner could not have been nicer when I asked him to sign this ball, as I told him no Yankee team ball would be complete without his autograph. Joe Torre and George Steinbrenner, two important Yankee fixtures during that time in the 90s and early 2000s. An amazing trip. That is my collection of my top 10 baseball autographs. And the memories that I get when I see them is unreal.